Best adversaries.
Ah, yes. My first nominee, me versus vegetables. Fuck you, carrots, you bitch.
Damn you, leafy greens.
Fix my fucking vision, bitch.
I wonder what's on the tube.
Welcome back.
Thank you for being a friend.
What you talking about, Willis?
You are a meathead.
Nothing for you.
Don't touch that dial, adjust those bunny ears, because what time of year is it, Jay?
It's time to present some fat, bald, golden J statues to all your favorite and least favorite sitcoms from this, our third season of sitcom My Face. Hold for applause. Okay, we're good. Thank you.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you, one sir in the back. Appreciate you very much. I'm also just noticing how fucking dirty that fan behind me is. Housekeep, if you get down that shit, please. How we been, fellas? We got a guest with us today.
Nick, why don't you introduce our guest, Jay?
The amazingly talented Joel Vallie. Welcome.
Woo!
Welcome.
Hey,
filmmaker, gamer extraordinaire, YouTuber.
Yeah,
man.
Crazy. It's, other than that, that's it. That's all I do, man. No, there's a lot of things I do. And watching television shows isn't one of them. Let's get this.
Hey, but you know media, for Christ's sake. Your YouTube channel is Media Glitch.
Yes, I do. And we started off as a movie review show.
What was the first movie you reviewed? Do you remember?
Golly, that's a good question. It used to be called the IQ Review. So it's stuff on your instant queue. Because
back when you had to have Netflix discs mailed to you? Is that
right. Well, here's the thing. I lived in Mexico a good part of my life, and I moved to the United States, and I kind of fell in like this crazy depression. I just wasn't adapting well to living here. And this guy from work comes up to me and goes, "Man, you know what you need? You love movies. You're always talking about movies. You need Netflix." I said, "What's Netflix?" Yeah. And he goes, "Dude, you can just you can have." And they were transitioning from discs to digital. He's like, "You can put it on your PS3 and you can just watch a movie." And I was like, I thought he was so full of it. I was like, there's no freaking way.
You're like, I don't need them. I have Blockbuster. Blockbuster never goes away.
Yeah. Well, in Mexico, we still had Blockbusters. You know what I mean?
Will live forever.
It's crazy. We still had Blockbusters and stuff. And I'd be going and renting movies and crap. And so I went home that night and I told my wife, I said, "Listen, this is going to sound crazy. My friend told me this thing about Netflix. We put it on. And and it was, I think The Office was like the first thing we watched back then. And we put it on and it just started playing. And I was like, I love this country. I was just like, this is awesome.
Cut to 20 years later, you have to buy a different app for every show you like.
Exactly.
And now you're like, fuck this country.
Who knew? Not that I didn't love America before since I was born here. And, but like, I'm just saying, like, I'd been out for so long that just seemed like some futuristic stuff for me. And then I think I didn't move for like a year and I just watched everything Netflix had. So,
well, and I know you're also a huge fan of physical media. So for you to,
yes,
that was one of those first things where you go, "Ooh, do you make the plunge?" I never fully made the plunge, even for this thing. It's always funny. Like I have one or two streaming things at a time. I rotate through them to whatever show we're covering, basically. So yeah. But yeah, welcome, my friend.
Thanks for having me. You should tell the audience that a lot of the shows, I know the shows, you sent me a list and I was like, gosh, I know zero of these. I do know some, but I'm more the tiebreaker. I'm more the guy I'm going to listen to you guys. And if you guys do tie, I'll be like, well, based off of.
Wait. We don't tolerate guests who listen. Okay. Right. You talk over us. Yeah. You talk over us and you fucking blah, blah. Yeah, that's all. Okay. We don't fucking.
Oh, man. You got the wrong person for the show. I'm always like just freaking derailing a show and sidetracking.
So on this show, we have covered 11 new shows this in our third season, and we have one returning from the last season.
Oh.
As we do, we draw one from a bucket of our least favorite shows. It comes back for a revisit the next season, and this year we got stuck watching again Clarissa Explains It All.
Yeah.
Again, don't forget, Nick and I are starting our new Clarissa Explains It All podcast. It will be coming out soon. And after Clarissa Explains It All
about Clarissa Explains It All.
after Clarissa Explains It All, Nick will be ending it all.
Exactly. Thank you.
So each of us have made up 6 categories to present tonight. We have each chosen 2 nominees for each of those 12 categories between us. And if they match, we probably have a winner. Sometimes both of our options match. We have to kind of decide,
we have
debate.
had that.
And every once in a great while, neither of them match, in which case we really have to debate. So yes, Joel will be here to help us with that. And why don't you go ahead, Nick? Why don't you present our first award for the evening while I enjoy this delicious Dragon's Milk Reserve?
Is it an award or the nominee? Or how does this?
Well, he's going to present what the award is. Tell us his nominees. We're going to go back and forth.
Gotcha.
Well, this award will be for the best TV sitcom setting. This is one of Jay's categories.
Yes. Favorite setting or show location?
Show location, correct. And my first nominee is Schitt's Creek.
You like the hotel? Yeah.
Yes. An actual hotel or motel.
Holiday Inn?
Like
hotel,
in the
motel,
thank you. Hey, Sugar Hill Records, couple of towns over from me. Englewood, New Jersey.
Don't fucking shake your fist at me like that, dude. Here comes the Jersey.
Next time, He-Man. But I found the setting of the motel in the middle of a town in the middle of nowhere actually a pretty good setting.
Well, not in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Schitt's Creek.
In the middle of Schitt's Creek, yes.
Yeah. Up Schitt's Creek without a paddle.
Correct. Yeah, like it may not have been my favorite of the sitcoms this season, but I just found it to be a very interesting locale for this. Mainly your the settings were the motel itself. You had the diner.
What was the shop the son opened that was so
thrilling?
Yes,
the store that Eugene Levy's son opened there.
When we covered Schitt's Creek, Joel, David Lotman was actually our guest for that one.
Okay.
My first nominee is the show that I was introduced to this year that I really did enjoy. Car 54, Where Are You? Which the setting is you have not only the police station, but I would say most of the Bronx.
Yeah.
And other suburbs, I think, as well, were kind of throughout there as well. But
yeah, the 5 boroughs. Well, they named the 5 boroughs, but I think technically, I'm trying to remember if it's the Bronx or Queens that they're patrolling. But
I'm Fred Gwynn from the block. Yeah, I remember that song.
Is this the 60s, the 1960s show?
61, I believe.
Did they remake that?
There's a movie from the 90s.
That's what it is. They
briefly
made a movie.
discussed.
Okay.
Yeah. Had a few of the same actors in it.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your next nominee?
And also just a quick point for the Car 54. Just a reminder. Yes, besides Fred Gwynn, Grandpa Al Lewis was on the same show.
Yeah.
And
I
wonder what their next sitcom was.
I never seen a pre-show reunion. That's crazy.
Okay, my next nominee is Sanford and Son.
Oh, yeah, the junkyard, the house.
Yes, those
all
are the
one
two
and the
main
same
locales.
They're pretty much the same. All the junk just flows into the house, so it's not really
basically.
I had a hard time choosing
the kitchen. Besides the living room, you get the kitchen. but really not much else of the house. Do you usually sit? Now, your second nominee, Jay.
Again, I chose one that kind of is not a single location, but kind of brings in the city around it. Toast of London, because you had so many. Because when we watched so many sitcoms, it was hard for me to look at these and go, I really love sitting in this single house for 9 seasons. you know? So I chose the two that are kind of, they venture more into the world. Like the Car 54 scenes where they're on a traffic stop or they're in a random business or a bank or this or that. I always like when you have a little bit of a change of setting, you know. So the same with Toast of London. That scene with the when they're on the tour buses, the dueling tour buses going. Oh, come on!
And they see the billboard of Mrs. Purchase.
Oh, you're going to Mrs. Purchase's bedroom. You're going to all the stage plays he's doing. You're going to the recording studio, which was always hilarious in the recording
Stephen, yes. This is Clem Fandango. Can you hear me?
So do we actually have 4 different shows?
We have 4 separate nominees.
All right, Joel, have you seen any of these shows? Car 54,
I've seen Car 54.
Okay. 1961 to 63, something like that. Sanford and Son, 70s.
That's the only 2 I've seen.
Toast of London and
Schitt's Creek were the other.
And Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
No, sorry. I've never seen them. I apologize.
So let's
what do we think?
So let's do this first. Before we make a decision, why don't we strike one from each of our lists?
Me, one of yours, and you, one of mine?
Yes.
All right. I think I'm going to nix Sanford and Son for Schitt's Creek.
Got it.
What would you think?
As far as, let's see, Toast of London
and Car
54.
They're both, I chose them because of the vast varieties of locations.
And I do definitely get that. And that was also a little more, I did kind of one of another. Like the Schitt's Creek was a little more open. You know, it's really, you have the whole town. You have a few main settings, but yeah, you do open it up. Car 54, basically, you have the 5 boroughs.
How did I know the East Boy would choose that?
Of course, yeah. The fact
the
that
Jersey Boy is like, I guess Car
54.
Yeah.
And then Toast of London. Yeah, we got a lot of different venues and locations. Again, a lot of repeat ones, such as the recording studio.
That one wins all the awards just for having tits all over the place.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I'm going to actually going to strike the Car 54 and leave Toast of London.
Okay.
Well, you guys struck the 2 I knew. I'm out of here.
Yeah, right. Bye. All right. Well, I mean, I would think there's more interesting locations in Toast of London. But what do you think? What would you choose of the 2?
Well, let's describe the settings for Joel. Describe Toast of London again. You know, like what were the settings mainly?
And titties are not a setting. Okay.
Yes, they could.
They can setty them on my face.
For Jay, yes.
They can setty them right here, bud. Well, like I said, you have a lot of the streets of London. You have his producer's office, which is decorated in hilarious actors' names and photos.
Yes.
Like they have their they have their headshots all over with ridiculous. There's always background jokes. You had the woman he's having an affair with, his nemesis's wife. You're constantly in her bedroom having sex with his wife right next to his sleeping enemy. I think it kind of encapsulates. Oh, and the stage plays. I think he does a lot of there's a lot of story arcs where he's doing a play for several episodes here and there. But the recording studio is probably my favorite. Granted, the location is not that interesting, but the shit that happens in that location is so fucking funny.
Because they're always fucking with him.
Was it Fandango? What was his name?
Yeah, Clem Fandango. Again,
Clem
Steven,
Fandango.
This is Clem Fandango.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Clem, every fucking time. Can you hear me? Yes, Clem.
It's like It's like, can we try yes?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, 16 more times. Yes.
It's like, and they have a little discussion.
Yeah.
How about this, Stephen? Can you give us a no?
No.
I am going to cede. I am going to cede to Toast of London because it is
Nick, there are ladies present.
Hey now, there are more locations used in Toast of London, making it more interesting. You know, like, of the two sitcoms, also I was definitely more into Toast of London, and just again, some of those recurring places are just so funny.
Yes. Well, congratulations, Toast of London. You have won the award for favorite setting or show
I would have
location.
picked Toast of London anyway, because when I looked for the locations and all I saw was Matt Berry come up.
Oh,
And
yes.
What We Do in the Shadows, which is like one of my favorite TV shows. I'm like, winner.
Same here.
No matter what you would have said on the other one, I would have picked that one.
You definitely need to see Toast of London then.
Yeah, I'd like it's already like, okay, I'm already intrigued because that guy makes
He's
What We Do in the
so
Shadows, you know what I
freaking
mean?
funny. And just a little insider info for you, Joel. I'm trying to remember what season it was. I think not this past season, but the prior season, when Laszlo is playing at the piano, you know, like he's playing a little bit. He's playing the theme song of Toast of London.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yes.
That's funny.
And there's a sequel series that we didn't know about called Toast of LA or Toast of Los Angeles.
Toast of Tinseltown.
Toast of Tinseltown. That's right. Okay. So maybe we'll get to that one eventually too. Our next award, let's go with I don't know if did you change best couple to most
Chemistry. Best couple.
Best chemistry?
Chemistry.
Okay. Best couple chemistry. I went with couple and chemistry.
Yes.
So for me, my first nominee was, the Bunkers. Edith and Archie Bunker, one of the greatest TV couples in history.
Yes.
And just happens to be
Yes.
one of the shows we covered this season.
Yes. And for my first, I also went with Archie and Edith Bunker.
There you go.
Because even though it's funny, if we go to one of our other awards, at times they could be in another award. But yes, they definitely had such great chemistry. Carol O'Connor and Gene Stapleton.
So you're definitely familiar with All in the Family, right, Joel?
Oh, 100%. Like,
I
watched.
Do you agree that they're one of the greatest TV couples of all time?
100%. I don't even know who you're going to bring out next, but it's not going to matter.
I'm curious about your second because I have a sneaking suspicion we actually might have.
We may. I can see.
I'm
you
not
choosing
sure.
This. I've told you my love of this couple. To me, they are the blueprint for what became Al and Peg Bundy, the Ropers on Three's Company.
Yes, and for my second nominee,
You did, didn't you?
yes, Mr. and Mrs. Roper.
Oh
from
shit!
Three's Company.
Well, Joel, how familiar are you with Three's Company?
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar as well.
Are you a Roper or a Furley guy? I do have a gun. I'm just kidding.
Roper.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, if I have to, are you guys going to vote?
We have to choose one of these. Yeah, we have to choose. We both chose the same two, apparently.
Yes,
So we have to
and
decide.
it's just given what we watched. These were the two couples that stood out with the best chemistry. Not always, if you want to say, loving chemistry, as shown with the Ropers. Like you said, they are the blueprint for Alan Peg Bundy.
It's amazing to me anytime I revisit Three's Company how much Al and Peg are in there. It's crazy. They just don't have kids. That's the only difference.
And of course, loving how Norman Fell as Mr. Roper, always breaking the fourth wall, like smiling for the camera, for it's like you get it out there, right? Yeah, right?
And you almost feel like that's his Archie Bunker. That's his little Archie Bunker thing where Archie would just kind of... Archie never had to say shit by the end of the show, you know what we're talking?
Right.
So, I mean, goddamn, I love them both. I would say the slight edge would have to go to Archie and Edith.
Same here.
And this is
Agreed.
one I can like, I understand the Al Bundy, the Peg. So like, I think she like her, cause even her hair, like red hair and like her earrings and the way she, like all that stuff.
The gaudiness of like,
yes, like that.
her
That's so, up. But like, dude, Archie, they like All in the Family has to win for me.
And the fact that you get to see the episode where Edith dies and Archie dealing with it. Oh, fuck.
I'm trying to remember how many times he was up for Emmys, Carol O'Connor.
I'm sure a lot, but
yeah.
I think he definitely won for that. Because that would have been in Archie Bunker's place. Yeah.
Yes, at the beginning.
I think she was on the first year of that. I think there was like 9 All in the Family and then Archie Bunker's place.
Mm-hmm.
And that show, I mean, the show's amazing in its own right that it even got going. Because from what I understand, it had a very rocky, like trying to get it even aired.
There was multiple pilots of both of those shows, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, there was multiple pilots of All in the Family and Three's Company, actually, that were before they aired. and they both came from British sitcoms.
Yes, they did.
Oh,
yeah, because that
weird.
one was like, what was that? Till Death Do Us Apart or something like that.
Yeah,
back
Till
in
Death
the
Do Us
day,
Apart
right?
is All in the Family. Do you know the Three's Company?
No, that one I don't know.
Yeah, Man About the House.
That's right, Man About the House. We discussed it on the episode. Again, if you want to know more about any of these shows, go back and listen to our episodes from this season.
I didn't know that.
Seasons. Yeah. All right. Well, congratulations, Archie and Edith.
Well deserved.
Oh my God, one of the greatest shows of all time.
Oh, Archie.
She's like, but that's not how she talks in real life, from what I understand.
Oh no,
I've seen interviews with her. You go, whoa, what?
Yeah, you're like, whoa.
Exactly.
I think she actually did one of the pilots not doing that voice too, didn't she?
I believe you're right, where it wasn't as accentuated.
All right, what do you want to present next, my friend?
Let's go the easiest watch.
Easiest watch.
Yes.
How would you define easiest watch, Joel?
It's kind of like if the show was on Netflix, you'd have to start up the next one and start up the next one and start up the next one.
And I feel
that,
like
to me,
I feel like nowadays picking up your phone, if I'm not picking up my phone, I know I'm in it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I do that,
and
too,
it could
like
be because of nostalgia.
Movies, if I'm watching movies and I'm editing and I'll throw up a movie, and the minute I'm not editing anymore and I'm watching the movie, I just stop editing and I watch the movie. You know, that's you know. Then there's some movies I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, there's some movies you watch no matter how many times they're on television.
Correct. And no matter where you are in the movie, you pick up from that point.
Like Jaws, Shawshank. I feel like I always have to finish them.
Those are two of the prime examples.
Yeah.
Mine is Blood In, Blood Out. I can watch that at any point in that movie.
He's like Human Centipede 2.
Well, I guess another one would be Texas Chainsaw. Like, it doesn't matter what frame it's in. I have to keep watching it till the end. Like, if it was, you know, which is not like one that's always aired on TV or anything, but
correct. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like, you know, if it's airing on, you know, something like
there's other
one of the prime stations, HBO or whatever, or go into the physical media.
And I really love Day of the Dead too. That's one that, like, something about
Day
the music.
Day of the Dead 2 or Day of the Dead also?
No, sorry, Day of the Dead also. Like, not
Day of the Dead 2 Zombie Boogaloo. Yes.
Well, there was a remake of Day of the Dead. So
anyway, easiest watch. What's your first
easiest
nominee,
watch,
my friend?
Well, I just want to say the way I took easiest watch, though, I also thought of, as you said, you know, if it's on or whatever, you just start watching, and it's like in some of the shows that we watched, there's some very touchy subjects and language and such. So, because of that,
are you counting out All in the Family because of the racism and that?
Well, that's why I did not actually nominate it for the easiest watch. Again, a show that I would watch over and over, yes, but easiest watch, I put a little more of, if you want to say the, not to say brainless, but yeah, it's just, you can put it on at any point. It's like, oh, okay, this is funny, this is good.
Looking at your list, if you're taking out like kind of the racist kind of stuff,
yeah,
and the homophobic stuff,
some like even Welcome Back Carter had some freaking.
Yeah, I actually nominated Welcome Back Kotter because, like, compared to some of the other shows,
I would agree it's an easy watch, though.
Yeah, it's an easy watch, right?
It's an easy watch.
It's very comical.
Yeah, it's very comical. And in watching back this show, I didn't realize how good it was. Like, it's one of those, like, you know, like your memories of it. Is it just the nostalgia of it? Or
it
was it
up
actually
pretty well? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting when you see Travolta and some of these other guys, they're in their characters, man.
Very much so.
Especially when you realize they're all playing high schoolers and they're in their 30s.
Yeah, exactly. Especially those later seasons. They aged out like big time.
Oh, yeah.
But like,
imagine me showing up on a sitcom with this bald head going, "Hey, kids, I'm 18. They're like, the fuck?
But back then in the 70s, I feel like the acting was very it's an interesting the way they acted, where I felt like in Welcome Back Carter, the acting changed. Like they were in their,
you know, what we've talked about
so much
is I think it's the time given to lines back in the day that makes everything feel so much more real.
Right.
Like, cause now it's all about cut. Like,
yeah.
You got to get through shit so fast. Back in the day, they took their time with a line, you know? They let it breathe, as they say. But,
exactly.
So my first nominee, though, All in the Family.
There we go. And again, it's how you define easy watch.
Yeah. For me, that is just every episode has something that you take away from it, and you're always laughing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's... Again, we discussed it. If you go to our lists, it's number one on our lists, and there's a reason it's number one. You know, the acting, the writing, the directing. It's
yeah, Joel. We rank all the shows as we watch them, and that's literally number one on both of our lists right now.
I mean, it's a classic for a reason, man.
Mm-hmm.
My second nominee, again going by what I had given, was actually Three's Company.
Makes sense.
It was an easy watch.
It's really easy with all the homophobia. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, I was going to say, yes, not to say that there's no subjects that are, yeah.
My second nominee, I think, for me, probably comes more from the nostalgia of it, because it was a show that I really liked as a kid. I discussed all that on the episode we covered it. The Steve Harvey Show, actually. I think that is just, and maybe because also it doesn't cover crazy topics like race or rape or drugs, or it doesn't cover any of that.
Right, yeah.
That might make it that much more palatable, you know?
Yeah.
So, and you got a couple of fun characters in there.
I've never seen it, so I can't say.
Steve Hightower, played by Steve Harvey, is a school teacher. It's a school setting.
I am going to take off. Oh, actually, no, wait. What is it? We take off one of each other's. I'm going to take off Steve Harvey on your list. Being that we're going actually a little more than, like, not my idea of easy watch, but just really, it's a great sitcom to watch.
Okay.
Not to say Steve Harvey isn't a great sitcom, but of the two that you presented.
All right, so you had Welcome Back, Kotter, and
Three's Company.
Three's Company. I think of the two, Three's Company is definitely the easier watch.
Mm-hmm.
Again, because it's just so goofy.
Every episode is miscommunication or misunderstanding.
Right.
Basically, that sums up every episode of Three's Company.
Right. So All in the Family versus Three's Company.
Goodness gracious. I got to pick one of these bad boys.
What do you think, Joel? Which one's the easiest watch?
That is...
Again, whatever criteria you want to use for easiest watch.
And they're both great shows. But again, I'm going to have to go with All in the Family because the writing and the jokes and just like it's just you want to see what Archie's going to do in the next episode. Like you know what I mean? Like it's just so rewatchable. Like
definitely.
It's going to have to go to that. I'm sorry.
Congratulations, All in the Family.
Woo!
Easiest watch. I think, again, very well deserved.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Starring our winner for Best Couple. Best and most charismatic couple. Edith and Archie. All right, what do we got next here? Let's see. The award for the show most likely to get a modern day reboot or sequel series. My first nominee, because everyone's still alive and still relevant, I would say Spaced is probably pretty prime for a sequel series or a reboot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, there was a remake already.
Oh,
there was?
Yes, there was. You can find that. I remember when it all went down, it was not pretty.
Oh, it's different actors, you're saying?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh.
So it's a remake, right?
Okay.
And I think it's pretty I think Edgar's voiced that that there's never going to be a season 3. I know Simon has.
Oh. So was it an American remake or a British remake?
Yes, by he has 2 letters in his name. It's a director. And oh gosh, I'm trying to think of what his name is in some of his movies. It's like DJ something or something like that.
DJ Pooh?
I'm trying to remember. He actually made a vampire movie that was okay not too long ago. Let me Google it for you real quick.
Are you talking about McG?
Yeah, there you go.
Is that the one?
Yeah. So
McG made a
McG,
the guy who did like Charlie's Angels?
Dude, he remade episode 1 of Spaced, and it never got picked up.
What?
But he did it all like didn't ask Edgar's permission.
Oh,
you know, they didn't.
That ain't cool.
So the
they
network
didn't talk
must have
to
owned it?
like Channel 4. All the people that were Nero Parks, everyone who was involved in that show had zero. Like he just made it. Like it was wild, man. I remember when all of it went down.
The only one movie I can remember for sure that he made was the Charlie's Angels. I think the movie version of that. I don't know if he did both of them, but I think he was a big music video director, if I recall.
I think so.
McG, yes.
Which, I mean, if you look at the style, I guess Space did have crazy cutaways and the weird like visual gags and like the zombie thing that that led to Shaun of the Dead.
Right.
The style, I guess you can kind of see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I think had they just gone about it differently, it might have done that. And it was right around the time, like, because I watched the UK Office. I didn't even know that there was a US one, like
the Ricky Gervais one, yeah.
And until I came over here, and I was like, oh, they remade this. Let's check this out, And so I think had it been done right, handled right, we may have seen Spaced in the US, but
and I feel like Spaced more than a lot of shows, it's so reliant on the cast.
Yeah.
The success of it, at least. Yeah, I don't know how many other actors could pull some of those roles off. I mean, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, obviously they're they're icons now for a reason as well. So, but yeah, that's my first nominee. I hopefully, if it does get a sequel series, McGee's not involved.
Yeah. Let's start. Let's start with get the permission of from Edgar Wright and Simon. what I put for a modern day reboot sequel is one that you actually just had mentioned, the Steve Harvey Show. I could see a continuation, or I could see a reboot. It could follow either path. Because of the school setting, it's an easy one to do the reboot. But
well, unfortunately, the best student actor is dead, as we discussed in that episode.
Bullethead?
Romeo. He was murdered.
Romeo. Okay.
He was murdered.
Okay, so
actually, Joel, you're a horror fan. The kid who was the star of Wes Craven's People Under the Stairs.
Yes. Are you talking about? Was he in the Steve Harvey Show?
No, he was friends with the kid who starred in the Steve Harvey Show, who played Romeo, and they were in a car together, and they got shot up, and the kid from the Steve Harvey Show died, and he made it out.
Shut up! That's a true story. Eh?
Yeah.
What was his name in People Under the Stairs? I'm trying to think of it. It's like
get a weird fucking name, like
it's like Runt or something like that.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, exactly.
I know Roach.
It's not. Yeah, Roach is the white kid.
Like,
yep.
Oh gosh, this is gonna kill me.
But of course, this has been our downer of the episode.
Well, that was because when we watched the Steve Harvey Show, I didn't even know that, and I loved that show. And after he died, only was it 2 months after the show ended, he was killed. You're like,
yeah, which is really crazy.
You're like, he never even got to enjoy the fame,
fruits of his labor,
and see what his career could have gone to. You know, that sucks.
So he probably wouldn't be in the remake.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, it would be a little hard there.
So that kid's name was Fool.
Fool, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kept wanting to say Newt, but I'm like, no, that's fucking aliens.
I knew it's something
that's aliens.
totally different.
Yeah. I was like, no, that's aliens. That ain't right. Okay, yeah.
But I will approach this as because you never know. Ed could go, let's do it. And Simon could go, let's do it. Season 3.
So we have Steve Harvey Show. Spaced. What was my second one? I put Schitt's Creek again because everyone's still alive, and you had side characters who had kind of got set up for potential future storylines, like your waitress who's like a millionaire or whatever. That kind of shit.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Well, played by Eugene Levy's actual daughter.
Yep. Yeah, and again, because it's a familial thing, you have the father, the son, and the daughter on the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible that at some point they go, "Hey, let's go back to the hotel." You know, fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
Rosebud, is that what it was? The Rosebud Hotel.
Yes. And
I'm glad I associated that somewhere in my mind with Citizen Kane to remember that.
That's so strange. At the lunch table today at work, we were talking about Orson Welles. Speaking of Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
I had a Citizen Kane conversation today too. That's so crazy.
Oh, that's really weird.
Because we got a new person from work, and she came on. She's a director, and
dude, I looked like Citizen Kane today.
No, you look like Orson Welles in the commercial for Paul Masson wines. The French.
Well, so we have one more? You have one
more?
Yeah,
yes,
he's got to give
one more, and it wouldn't be
D-Bag, what do you got for us? I'm just
hey,
got him.
That's a callback joke that no one's gonna know before we were recording.
What I didn't go the sequel. I went more the reboot.
Right.
I actually thought Sanford and Son. Why not? But it doesn't have to be necessarily junk. But they're collectors nowadays.
Well, you want Lamont and his son? Is he still alive?
Damon Wilson, I think, is still alive and doing
but you're talking about a remake,
shows.
Right?
I'm sorry?
You're talking about a remake, though.
Yeah, I'm talking more about a remake.
Yeah.
Well, and that was also based on a British show, right?
Yes.
So that is technically a remake. Yeah.
I can't believe neither of you guys said All in the Family.
But everyone we would want in it is gone, or
no, but I could see them making a reboot of that.
Well, they kind of have
political time of our, you know what I mean?
You remember that 402 Hauser Street and shit where they put a black family in the Archie Bunker's house?
Really? No, I don't. I've never even heard of this.
Actually, wasn't it John Amos? Didn't we see?
Oh wow! R.I.P.
Yeah, who just died? I think when we covered it on that episode, I think we learned it was John Amos.
It may have been, which is interesting, being that he was also one of the stars of another.
And if it wasn't, I'll cut this out.
but yeah,
but I think it was.
He was the star of what other?
Yeah, because Maura Tierney or whatever from fucking News Radio was in it too. Remember, she was the one white girl.
Oh wow!
So it was a black family, and the son marries a white woman who was the girl from News Radio.
But yeah, but John Amos was in another Norman Lear show. What the heck was that called again? Oh yeah, Good Times.
Should have been.
But
called
I could
Great
see
Times.
it All in the Family, Trump supporter, and like you know, and then like the a liberal like daughter, and like all
they did that.
just,
it was called the Roseanne reboot. That was fucking the Roseanne reboot when it came back. All right.
Okay.
What you thinking, my friend?
Of these, well, let's see. We have
Spaced and Schitt's Creek.
Spaced and Schitt's Creek.
Steve Harvey,
and Sanford and Son.
Most likely. Now again, don't forget the most likely part.
Okay,
yeah,
so.
that's true. Most likely.
Most likely to get a reboot or sequel series.
So that
I would
changes
say
a
the
lot.
ones with the actors are dead are going to be a little harder
To get a
right.
to get a sequel series, but the reboot is a possibility.
Exactly.
As you said, the Schitt's Creek one, it's also not too long from.
It's fairly recent. Yeah.
Yes, it's fairly recent. So, and as you said, all the actors, actresses, they're all alive.
And Joel's over here saying that Edgar Wright said, fuck no to another season of Space. So.
Well, I don't know about Edgar, but I do know Simon has like said like, quit asking me this.
Okay.
Well,
Quit
he's probably
asking me
sick
for
of
Shaun of
talking
the Dead
about it.
2, quit asking me for Hot Fuzz, and quit asking me for Space 3.
Okay.
He's probably
So,
just sick of answering the questions. Yeah.
You know what? Given that, let's do the elimination. I'll eliminate Space just given that info.
Right.
Which do you want to eliminate from Sanford and Son or Steve Harvey?
I can't imagine. God, I don't want a reboot of Steve Harvey show, but I also can't imagine a reboot of Sanford and Son without Red Fox.
Listen, man, if they did what they just did to The Crow, they'll do anything now.
That's true.
There's not like I agree. Like I feel like that needs to be respected, and
I feel like that's also one where they know the internet rage would just be like the show would be condemned before it ever aired.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if they came out, imagine they said the same day, they're like, hey, Steve Harvey's coming back. We're doing a reboot of the Steve Harvey show. People would be like, oh, interesting. Hey, we're doing a reboot of Sanford and Son, and Red Fox has been dead for what, 40 fucking years? No, fuck
and
you.
I think the opposite. I think that generation of people that would backlash, I don't think they would backlash that generation. I'd like
because they're dead.
Looking at the Brandon, like looking at the whole Brandon, looking at the whole Brandon Lee thing. Like when The Crow was big, that's when the internet's just coming out, our generation, and we didn't even complain enough to get it stopped. So it's like I feel like I don't know. I feel like that would get. Wouldn't get the hate that you think it would. It's just it's been too long.
Which would you choose? I'll let you choose for me.
Oh, to eliminate?
Yeah. Either way, which one do you think would be most likely, or which one would you want to eliminate?
Well, I would eliminate the Steve Harvey.
Okay.
So it's Sanford and Son and a sequel to Schitt's Creek.
Right. So then I guess I have to vote, and I'm going to go with Schitt's Creek because that seems more probable.
Yeah. And again, it's so recent, still so fresh in people's minds that
Right.
it's like, oh yeah, okay, let's revisit.
There will
this-
never
the
be a
family.
time people aren't going to be eager to watch Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara.
Exactly.
There will never be a time when people don't want to watch them, right?
Correct.
All right.
I just saw
well,
Eugene Levy, and he was cracking me up in that new season of Only Murders.
Only
in the
Murders
Building.
in the Building.
Just so good.
Congratulations to Schitt's Creek, show most likely to get a modern day reboot or sequel series. I would say in that case, it's probably more likely a sequel series. Actually, hopefully.
Yes.
You know what I would say if they did a reboot? Ew, David. That's one of the girls' catchphrases, Joel.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I figured it was something.
Ew, David.
Well, let's see. That was which one? That was the modern reboot sequel. Okay. Well, being that you just brought it up, let's go the route of the catchphrase. And I
Like,
will
who has
start.
the best catchphrase?
Yes.
Which show? Which show or which character?
Which character or which phrase too?
Mhm.
Because some of these characters have multiple phrases.
I know. I mean, I chose 2, but I know you're about to throw out 12 of them. What do you got?
No, again, it's because it's only 2. I had to limit it. The first one is, it's the big one, Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
Fred Sanford
From the same
always,
show, you big dummy.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Same character, same show. Do you award the catchphrase or the character? Either one, I guess.
I'm going with, for this category, we're going with the catchphrase itself.
Okay.
What
I
is
wrote a
your first
versus.
nominee?
I wrote a versus. I literally wrote Dummy versus Meathead. Fight!
Begin. Okay, so
Well, speaking Joel's terms, which one's going to have the fatality?
so you did Dummy versus Meathead.
Dummy versus Meathead.
My second one is Meathead.
Oh, okay. Archie
So we
again.
actually have a match.
Archie. You meathead. You are a meathead. It's right there in our opening theme song.
Correct. What is it? It means you're dead from the neck up.
Yeah. Dead from the neck up. Meathead.
So that was actually a very quick one. To,
Yeah, unless your
accomplish.
second one is the same as his. There's
Correct.
Meathead is the winner. Again, Archie.
Yes, and with Archie, you could also have gone with Stifle.
Stifle. Yeah. I thought you were going to bring out like up your nose with a rubber hose or something.
I was thinking about that one too. There were a few. Yeah, and what did you just bring up for Schitt's Creek with David?
Ew, David.
Ew, David. So yeah, there were some catchphrases out there to be had, but definitely, the two
Archie.
prominent ones were All in the Family and Sanford, and All in the Family takes the takes the prize for Meathead.
All right, we've been talking pretty favorably so far. How about we go for the most forgettable show?
Yeah.
Of the 12 we watched this season, what do you think is one of the most forgettable shows? For me, it was kind of a hard choice, honestly, because I think they're all good in a certain way. But the one that I remembered the least, but I remember liking, was Go On, the starring, old Chandler Bing himself, Matthew Perry, who, died this year, R.I.P. We covered it right after his passing.
Right.
I remember liking the show, but also I don't remember much about it. So forgettable, right?
Yeah, that's the same route I was going to. I'm like, okay, let's go through the shows, and it was hard to remember particular episodes of Go On. I remember liking it.
And we watched all of it, right?
We watched the entire the entire series.
Yeah.
The one thing I do remember about that show was Mr. K.
Oh, yes. Yep.
But yes, I also, for my first nominee, also put Go On for the same reasoning.
Okay. Well, and again, I love Matthew Perry. I love a lot of his movies.
Same.
I love him as Chandler. I love Matthew Perry. He's had so many failed sitcoms that we'll cover, I'm sure, more of them in the future. But
Yeah.
it's not because they're bad. I think it's just because people were like, "You're Chandler, bitch. What are you doing? Trying to be, you know?" It's
Right.
one of those weird things where he just couldn't escape that, I think.
Well,
And now he never will.
The biggest TV show of all time, probably. I
One
can't.
of them.
Is there-
One of them, yeah.
Was there something bigger than Friends?
I'm sure there is, and so it depends, probably like network ratings or
Because I mean, if I
or-
think about like every country had Friends, like, and in every country it was.
I would
hit.
say maybe The Simpsons is probably.
I don't even know.
Starting season 36.
Well,
It's
no, like
probably in
that's
every
a long.
country
It's
right
a
now.
long run, no doubt.
Oh,
but-
oh yeah, it's the longest
did it-
running.
yeah. It's like did it get translated in every?
But also you have highly regarded like sitcoms too that everyone uses, you know, like some of the terms from, such as a Seinfeld, you know, like something like that. So
Seinfeld and Sopranos, I do see on top lists a lot.
correct.
But I mean, as far as, if you. Friends is definitely up there. I would say top
Yeah,
5.
correct.
And I'm not
probably
even
of all time.
talking about people's top lists. I'm talking about popularity around the world. Like,
Oh,
is
definitely.
you know,
Definitely,
what-
there's probably more people who would say they like Friends over people. Seinfeld is probably more of a targeted audience.
Right.
Mhm.
The more cynical people like me. But that's Chandler Bing too. He was the cynical character on that show. So I think Go On is a good show, but it is kind of forgettable. And again, it only ran one
True.
season, so it's not like it had 10 years to win you over, you know.
Correct.
So my second nominee, most forgettable show, even though I do love the show, and we covered it very recently, Happy Endings. For me, it's not so forgettable, but I can see in the greater sitcom threshold, I can see how it would kind of blur into a lot of other shows.
Yeah. And that was one of the ones that I was also debating with. But I will say this, there were a couple of episodes I actually remembered.
Okay.
And that's why I did not put it on my list for second. And
Okay,
being that you
how
told
did you
me,
choose any other show for most forgettable?
I don't know. Even though I've had to watch it twice. There was
He's
this
about to
show
explain
called
it all, kids.
Clarissa Explains It All. That
All right.
I've had to watch twice, and I could give you a slight definition of, you know, like her character or,
Wait,
or
you
the
don't remember that
family or
episode
whatever.
where she's in
But
a room and talking shit about her brother?
yeah, that's pretty much everything.
Oh, right. I didn't choose it because for me it's not forgettable because it's part of my youth, but I understand why
Correct.
you would choose it. So
Yeah,
Go
and-
On is our winner, though.
Go On is
Right.
the winner, though.
Yeah.
And again, please do not get me wrong out there. It's just the fact of with Clarissa, I wasn't the target audience.
He's
I was
20
well
years older
past-
than the target audience was.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, like I had already passed the target audience when they premiered it. Like there were no young teen sitcoms when
Right.
I was young.
All right. What's the next award here, my friend?
Next award.
I mean, douchebag.
Hey now. Why don't we go on to the award
Jamaica.
for
Bahama. Come on, pretty mama.
how about, you know, which character was added to the show
Oh.
that they could have just done without?
Worst, you said what? Worst character addition was the.
Worst character addition.
Oh.
And my first nominee is, I believe it started in, was it after season 5 or in season 5,
I think
where
you're
they
about to-
introduced Cindy Snow on Three's Company.
So, I also chose Cindy Snow.
Yeah.
God, they literally just tried to carbon copy Suzanne Summers.
Yes.
Suzanne left, and they were like, we have a week. Can you get someone in here who looks just like her and tries to act like her, but is terrible?
Right. Just tries to act like her, but just has none of the, charisma or, like the actual character.
Now, do you remember Cindy on Three's Company, Joel?
I actually just typed her in.
She's the second roommate that replaced Suzanne when she wanted more money, and they were like, fuck off.
Right. Yeah. I probably seen like a YouTube video on it once or something like that, but I don't remember her at all.
Well, and luckily this is one of those scenarios where they realized that she wasn't that interesting, and once they found someone better, they were like, all right.
Yes.
What'd they say? She's going to college. Bye.
So they replaced the replacement?
They did with Terry, the third female roommate.
Terry,
who actually is my favorite
Barnes.
of the three.
Yeah,
I'm in the weird boat where Terry's my favorite of the three lady roommates. But I mean, if you don't count Janet, of course. But so second nomination,
nominee. If I say
Terry,
the
I
name,
do remember. Sorry.
Oh, it's
I
okay.
love Terry.
Yeah, Terry was great because also she wasn't necessarily the ditz as
she was a nurse.
portrayed.
Nurse,
Yeah, she was a nurse.
A sexy nurse.
Oh yeah. But if I say the character Teresa Betancourt, does anyone remember it?
No.
How about you, Joel?
No.
Yeah, if you remember, I believe it was the 7th season of All in the Family. After Mike and Gloria left, they needed someone to rent
the
out.
Little girl? Oh,
no,
okay.
not the little girl. That was Stephanie, and
Stephanie.
the baby was Joey. Teresa was, I believe, her background. She was supposed to be Puerto Rican. She was of Hispanic heritage, and always drawing with Archie, and but.
Yes.
That's the thing. It's just so forgettable and just didn't fit.
No. Yeah. And here's the thing is I only wrote Cindy because to me she was the worst. But I'm looking at these other shows and I'm like, there was a few people added here. Even in All in the Family, remember when Archie disappeared for 3 episodes? He was on a contract dispute and wasn't going to come back. So they were about to do Archie, or the fucking All in the Family without Archie, and they brought in that other Stitch or whatever the fuck friend of his.
Stretch, I think it was.
Something like that.
Yeah, Stretch.
Okay, what the fuck is going on here? But then contracts were okay, and he
cooler
came
heads
back
prevailed, and Carol O'Connor
I did
came
think
back.
of the little girl that they added. I didn't remember enough of her episodes to remember if she was bad or not. Stephanie.
When I first watched All in the Family, I was probably closer to her age. So it was like, oh, cool.
And she was more in Archie Bunker's place, right? Than
correct.
All in the Family.
Yeah, because I think she was only in
maybe the last season of All in the Family.
The last season, I believe season 9, I think. So
and I also thought of the guy they brought in to replace Travolta on Welcome Back, Kotter, but I don't remember him being that. Like, he wasn't that jarring. He was just kind of there, right?
Exactly. Yeah, he was just forgettable. He was background.
The fact that we both put Cindy, she's the winner, correct? All right, cool.
Congratulations, Cindy Snow.
I mean, I feel bad for the actress. I always have.
But... Oh, yeah. Oh, no. And it was just a bad move.
How many episodes was she?
How many episodes? I think she was in at least a season.
Yeah, one season, and then the next season.
That tells you how bad it is, because I feel like I've watched a good lot of that show, and I don't even remember that, but I remember who came after. Like that's crazy.
She was probably at least a season, but I think they used her sparingly because they realized she wasn't that exciting.
Correct. Yeah, they came to the realization. Okay, yeah, like people aren't interested in this character, and as you said, they came out with Priscilla Barnes,
and she was supposed to be,
and Cindy went to college,
and she was supposed to be Chrissy's cousin or some shit. So it's like they tried to keep it. Oh, her cousin showed up. But even the same one, Terry shows up. They're like, okay, Cindy's going off to school. Okay, bye. It's fucking never.
It's kind of sad though, right? That if that's what you're remembered by.
Well, here's the thing though. I was going to say,
hopefully
if they ever did do a reboot or a sequel series, you know what? I mean, Jack's dead, obviously. The Ropers and fucking Furley are dead. But you could do a Three's Company with fucking Larry, who's still around, Janet, and maybe Cindy or Terry, or all four. You could have
Four's
four
Company.
as a crowd. They did Three's a crowd, right?
Correct.
Is that what it's called? Yeah. Three's a crowd.
Yeah,
they could do
that
Four's
was-
a
that was
crowd
the
or Four's
sequel.
Company. Yeah.
And that was a sequel, which was also based on a British comedy, Robin's
Right.
Nest.
Right. So I mean, it is possible there could be redemption there, and that might actually work. Larry's not that much different than Jack. There's a reason they were good friends, So
Okay, your next category, sir.
let me underline Cindy here. Congratulations, Cindy. All right, let's go with the catchiest theme song, and I highlighted catchiest because I wouldn't want to be like best. I don't want to. I think catchiest really has its own stigma to it. Catchiest theme song, and we had some doozies this season.
Oh yeah, this season we actually had some like a few good ones.
There's only one winner in my eyes.
Okay.
Well, my first
I'm not gonna
nominee
say no.
is All in the Family.
There you go.
Those were the days.
Yes.
Hey, you know where you are. Oh, my neighbors will kill me if I go full Edith.
Yes, definitely one of the most memorable theme songs, particularly also for Edith's off-key thing there. And
Goyles were Goyles and men were men.
And as we discussed in the episode, if you listen to the lyrics of the song, those weren't very great days. Herbert Hoover is considered one of the worst
We could
presidents.
use a man like Herbert Hoover again.
Didn't need
Didn't
no welfare
welfare
state.
state. Everybody pulled his
his
weight. G.R.O. LaSalle ran great.
LaSalle, not one of the most. Yeah, it's like, there's a lot of things in that song that are like, it's just, I guess, nostalgia for them. It's not that these things were great.
So, who was your first nominee?
My first nominee, Welcome Back, Kotter. One of the earwormiest.
Welcome back.
By John Sebastian. Just like dun 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 dun.
Did you listen to the Mace version I sent you? It's actually pretty
Yes,
fun.
I did. I did listen to that.
You know the Mace version, Joel?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like that's how, if I remember, that's how the album begins, right?
Oh, it's like
it's like the first track on that.
Yeah. My second nominee.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yes. Talk about your earworms.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was actually, not only it was such an earwormy song, but it was also on the Billboard Top 100.
Yeah.
I forgot what number it reached, but Welcome Back by John Sebastian was actually on Billboard.
We discussed it on the episode? I forget. Didn't we say the show title was changed to match the song, right?
Yes.
Because it was that powerful.
Correct. Yes. That's like you just said, the power of that song. It's like, yeah, you know what? Let's just call it Welcome Back, Kotter.
Yeah, because I think he said that the guy writing the song was like, just tell me what the show's about. And they're like, oh, it's about a teacher coming back. He's like, I got it. Done.
My second one, it was very hard for me because, again, we had some great songs, actually, some great theme songs. And for catchiness, I put Street Beater by Quincy Jones. The theme to Sanford and Son.
That's what it's called? Wow.
Yeah, Street Beater.
And like, if I can throw a wrench in, That's the one for me. That's the one that's the most iconic. It's the one I've been whistling. That's the one
It's iconic.
Like, I don't go around singing All in the Family. I'm sorry, but I will go around and I will hum dun, dun, dun. Like, there's just certain times where you're just like, there's certain things you're doing a day. You know, like if I'm going to take out the trash, I'm like, you know, like things like that you like, I don't find myself like ever like, welcome back, welcome, like that. You know what I mean? Right. But that Sanford and Son tune, there's things in life where I can hum it to what I'm doing. You know, it's like,
I wonder if there's any like hip hop songs that have sampled Sanford and Son.
Probably.
No, I wouldn't be surprised.
I would imagine.
What was the one, even that, the Munster song got sampled in that one.
Oh yeah.
The Uma Thurman song.
To me, that one's more like it's like, you know, like when I'm like kind of and as an example, when I'm like, I feel like a badass and I'm walking down the street or something. It's not Sanford and Son, but it's like the Imperial March, like of Star Wars, like dun, 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 dun. Like, so there's these certain things of life. And I felt like Sanford and Son, that theme fits in your life at some point.
Well, and honestly, even with Nick's favorite show, podcast about Clarissa coming soon, if you ask anybody, a lot of people's favorite memory of that show is the theme song. The na 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 na, you know.
No.
Yes. All right.
But considering though, it's like, those are thee great songs that we just had, but one of them actually was on both our lists.
Welcome back. And like you said, it was a hit single as well.
Yes, it was actually a hit single too.
So all right, congratulations. Welcome back,
Cotter. And John Sebastian.
Welcome
John
back,
Sebastian
Mr.
beats out Quincy Jones. Wow. I'm surprised on that one.
Mr. Carter.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll clap to it, but I'm not agreeing to it.
I wonder if Sanford and Son made the lists, like the Billboard charts or anything. It might have. That was a weird time when even an instrumental like that could have.
Right. Yeah. Because actually, some theme song instrumentals did actually hit Billboard charts. Like, I'll give you one. Actually, the Rockford Files, another instrumental, was actually on the Billboard charts.
It never did reach Billboard status, it says. So,
which one?
The Quincy Jones.
The Street Beater. Okay, so
now if it was called Wife Beater, maybe.
Hey. Okay, let's go on to something we actually were talking about before the show. Let's get to the meat of.
You're willing to give out your medical diagnosis here, Nick?
Hey, no, not that part. Let's what makes a successful pilot?
Oh, yeah. Most successful pilot. First episode, pilot. For anyone listening who doesn't know. I typically watch the pilot when we do a new show.
Correct.
What was your first nominee?
My first nominee, and we discussed this, it actually went through a few iterations. But the iteration that we got of All in the Family, I think, made that such a successful pilot. We got the feeling of this family, the characters.
It still blows my mind for some reason. I don't know why that's a Rob Reiner.
Yeah. Oh.
Like, I can't
very
ever.
Much so.
The director of Misery?
Yeah, I still love when they had was it the roast of Rob Reiner? Yeah, I think it was his roast, and Triumph the Insult Comic Dog was on. It's like, look at you. What did you do to yourself? What happened? Did you eat Carol O'Connor?
I'll have to look for that because that sounds like something I would love.
That was one of the Friars Club roasts. Yeah.
Oh, those were great, and like Robert Smigel, the one that does Triumph, is freaking hysterical.
Eminem hated him so much he did a whole song for him. There's a whole song he does as Triumph, making fun of it. So I actually wrote Discuss because of all the pilot, obviously a lot of the shows are amazing. I don't remember exactly what happened in a lot of the pilots, which is weird because I almost always watch the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
I know on our Happy Endings episode we discussed the pilot was pretty good because it introduces you to the characters pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But for the life of me, probably because we watched so many fucking episodes of them, could not remember exactly what happens in the pilot of like Three's Company or All in the Family. And you would think you would, but I mean, I think probably because those shows had so many great episodes.
Correct.
You just kind of
you remember more of the other episodes,
right?
Following rather than your pilot. Yeah, I'll tell you the Three's Company one because it really mirrors the British show. It's just Jack has fallen asleep in the bathtub after a party at Janet and Chrissy's house.
Yep.
Yeah, like
that's
where we begin, and then their roommate has just left, so they need a new roommate. Jack is an aspiring chef. They basically wanted Jack there, but Mr. and Mrs. Mr. Roper would not allow a man to be living with two women unless.
And I also feel like I should remember the pilot of Sanford and Son, but I just don't.
I don't remember that one either.
Yeah, that one I don't remember as well. I want to say
there's one on your list though I do remember quite well. I'm not.
So
I won't say.
What was your second official one?
My second official one was actually Welcome Back, Kotter. It really introduces Gabe Kaplan as Mr. Kotter coming back to his high school
and the long lost Mark's brother.
Yes, the long lost Mark's brother, and being that he was a sweat hog and Mr. Woodman was still there as the principal.
I'm honestly okay with any you choose because I remember them all so little. The pilots, at least the first episodes.
Of the shows that we watched, what would you say, Joel?
I just did not write any. I wrote Discuss. That's what I wrote.
Really?
I wrote Discuss.
I mean,
typically the pilot is never the peak of the show either.
No,
right.
It's usually, hey, here's what's going on, and then the next episode
I look at it.
Get a taste of the characters.
Like the news radio pilot. The news radio pilot, fucking brilliant. I remember that one to this day.
That's one of the better ones.
But I think also the taxi pilot was pretty fucking amazing.
Oh yes.
But I don't feel like there was. I don't feel like there was one in this batch for me that stood out as far as a pilot, at least.
So I guess I'm officially coming in on this.
Yes,
do it.
The first one I'll mention is this pilot because, and like I said, it's character setup. It's the most creative way to set up a characters, the two characters. And the way they set them up is, that
Spaced?
One is you think they're talking to each other.
Yeah. Yep.
And they're not. But they're both breaking up with their boyfriend and girlfriend. And then they come together. And the montages that they use.
The creative editing, I do recall.
The creative editing, it's one of the greatest pilots ever made. And that is Spaced.
There it is, signed to Joel.
Wow.
This is signed by Edgar and Simon. And the cool thing about Spaced, when it came out in the US, I have the US version here. This is when they had to get this is the US version. Sorry. So when it came out, which took forever because of the music rights and everything. Edgar had a showing in a theater And he just invited just a handful of people, and I was one of them. And I got to watch both seasons with him and Simon in the theater. I'll send you a picture of of us and stuff. And like that was a cool. Like I was already a Space fan, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And was Shaun of the Dead and shit already out when you watched it?
Yeah. And I already knew Edgar before before Space got released in the U.S. Right. I actually, like my Shaun of the Dead sign too.
Nice.
And my Hot Fuzz. I'd known of Edgar from Asylum, which is another British TV show that he did before, and before he did Spaced, right? And so, actually, on the behind the scenes of my first feature, there's a part where I'm filming this in Mexico, and Edgar Wright calls me on the phone to wish me luck on this car scene I'm going to do. And that was probably right around Shaun of the Dead hype.
Damn.
Where people were like starting to pick up on what I already knew was the brilliance of Edgar Wright. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I even like his random, that fucking, was it Last Night in Soho and shit? I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Fun. I just love his style.
Right. And so, and then the other pilot I'm going to say, sadly, is going to take Spaced away. Even though I think Spaced is a better pilot, it is All in the Family. And the way you guys have been doing this, if it's on both lists, it wins, which kind of sucks because I do honestly think that Spaced is one of the greatest pilots ever made. Well, the way they set up the characters, and I cried like a baby at the end of Terminator 2.
You guys can debate however you need to debate. I don't know.
Here's the thing. I am going to defer to Joel on this one because, going back, thinking about that, the style, the edits of that first episode.
That's the thing you remember most about the show is the style, the cutaways, the editing.
Well, and you set up the characters so everyone remembers how that begins because you think they're talking to each other,
right?
And they're not. And you hadn't seen
their other,
and you hadn't seen that before. I've seen it now. Other people have done it in movies and in sitcoms and stuff. But that was brilliant, you know. Mm-hmm. And then the way they come together and they both need a flat, and so they come together as a couple, and it sets everything up for what's about the insanity that's about to ensue. Like for the
I also love. I think we discussed it on the episode. They fucking like the first or second episode and then never really discuss it again.
Yeah, it's just like kind of like let's get this over with.
They're like fuck, and then you're like, oh, they're gonna be like Sam and Diane. No, they never really discuss it again. Because even in the last one, when he goes to was she at the bus station or something? He's like, so you want to come back? Yeah, and they just go back, and it's not even like a romantic thing. It's just like,
So that's So if that wins,
that wins.
Pilot
that's
today,
your choice, man. It's Spaced. Look at that. Awesome. Congratulations to Space.
Coming out of nowhere. Just when you thought another award was going to All in the Family, Space takes it.
You made Nick seed all over the place again.
Oh, no. Hey, not that type of seed.
I seed when I want to seed.
And here I thought I'd be useless on this show. Here we go.
No.
No, that was helpful. Very helpful. All right, what's next here? Which character would you like to know more about?
Yeah.
That was one of yours, Nick.
There were some very interesting characters that we only got X amount of information about, but were so charismatic, were so unusual, were so just magnetic. It's like, I want to know.
Actually, from your last winner here, I want to know much more about Brian, the fucking weirdo from space.
Well, yeah.
And his weird relationship with the, what was that actress's name?
But Twist?
Oh, no. Twist was
No,
That's who we started dating. But you're talking about the lady who owned the apartment?
Oh, God.
Well, that too, but also remember the trans artist or whatever that he
yeah,
dated?
you're talking about what's that actor's name? Oh gosh. From what's that he does a great show. What's that show that he does is it Great Britain?
Maybe. I've never seen that.
What?
There's a show called Great Britain.
Little
Britain.
Little Britain.
Okay.
So he does. Oh gosh, that dude's brilliant, man. Is that him? Is that the same guy?
Or something? Isn't it like Mulva or some shit like that?
Yeah, Mulva. No, I think you're thinking. Oh wait, yeah.
Wasn't it fucking something weird like that?
It was a strange name. But
yes, I would like to know much more about Brian's psycho ass because I'm sure there's some great stories.
Like some of his backstory, like when that whole story, you're like, what kind of life did this dude live?
Yeah, dude.
Dude, oh my goodness.
Dude, fuck young Sheldon. I want to know about young Brian.
Yeah.
I want to know that kid's fucked up upbringing, dude.
And
for sure.
Speaking of, my first nominee, also from Spaced.
Wow.
I want to know Mike. I want to know more about Mike Watt. It's like
Mike Watt.
Yeah. It's like besides the recurring little daydream that Simon Pegg's character keeps having with him.
I love the reoccurring the story about them in the tree that changed every fucking time.
That's what I mean. That little.
Well, I love that they give you just clips, literally like for 1 second, and then they're like, "Hey, we ain't got time for that."
Yeah,
right. But I'd like to know more about Mike.
That's good.
And that was, remember we discussed it on the Happy Endings episode, like that final episode, you learn they have a sister. And one of the characters in the show literally goes, well, that's weird. You have another sister? How come she's never in any of your cutaways? That's the kind of shit that reminded me of like Spaced. Where it's like, that's something they would do on that show. We're like,
it's vulva.
Vulva. That was it. That was the one. I wanted to see a show specifically about the time they were dating.
Williams. It's David Williams from Little Britain, and please watch Little Britain.
Okay,
is it a sketch show or a sitcom?
It's like a sketch show. Yeah.
Okay, my second nominee for character you want to know more about. He wasn't my favorite of the landlords, but I do want to know a little bit more about young Mr. Furley. Mr. Furley on Three's Company. I think there is also an interesting prequel series there with Mr. Furley and his weird swinging ways. And
that's actually a pretty good nominee.
And I would also think that it probably parallels a little bit of Don Knotts' life, because I heard he's quite the swinger, quite the ladies' man.
Yeah, which is quite interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, my second nominee, Mr. Furley, Three's Company. I want to know a lot more about that weird fuck.
My second nominee actually goes back to when we were talking about most forgettable series. The one thing I could remember about the series.
Mr. K.
Mr. K.
From Go On.
The strangest character from Go On that it's just like, what is it? Like, wait,
all four of our nominees are very strange characters.
Yes. Oh, all of them are.
Yes.
All of them are. And yeah, it's just a plethora of oddities.
Well, honestly, since we got 4 different characters again, and Joel knows at least 3 of them very well.
You're going to have, but you guys got to eliminate 2, so this will help me.
Right.
Okay.
Well, how about we do something that will really help Joel? Let's see. I remember your first.
Mr. K is pretty interesting, though, so if you're just going to throw him to the wolves, I don't know. That was pretty interesting character.
I know. He is freaking interesting. But
he's also not, he's only in 1 season. The show only lasted, but he is probably the best part of the show.
He is. That's the only reason
Joel, to put it in perspective, Brian, Mr. K is the Brian of Go On, probably.
Yeah. But he has background in what was it, CIA?
Oh,
he's got background.
He's the guy who knows everything.
He knows everything, and he has information about nuclear science. He's got, it's just like the weirdest collection of knowledge.
What was the scene
quirks.
that killed us with the pennies? There was something with the fucking handfuls of pennies out of fucking nowhere. What was it?
I'm trying to remember what the.
He just
whole
out of
premise-
fucking nowhere, he just fucking throws down
Has
like 2 giant handfuls of pennies and runs away, and you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck, dude? Like, what is it?
It's like, huh?
You're like, what the fuck just happened, dude? Yeah.
And you don't know because he's with that group, the no, what's the word? Yeah, like people that have lost, and that it's like what
losers. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but
that fucking group of losers.
But
all
it's
grieving, boo-hoo.
Yeah, wow, wow.
Oh, my daddy died. My wife died.
But it was like, really, what was he actually there for? Also, that was the other piece. It's like, did he actually lose somebody, or
he was kind of like God, what was that character on the Simpsons who lost his arm, but every time Herman, right? But every time he told the story, he lost his arm a different way.
Okay.
It's like in the early episodes. It's like one was an alligator, one was out the bus window, one, it seemed like his story changed a lot like that.
I'm going to though, from your from your 2 nominees, I'll take away Furley.
Okay.
Which one will you take away from mine?
Well, we got to make it easy for him over here with his show Spaced, right? So I guess
and that's why I'm.
Yeah, because Mike has all these like kind of army tactics. We don't know exactly what went down in his life.
I don't think he's trained.
But yeah, exactly.
but yet he shows up in a tank at the end.
But Brian, I want to know, I want to know the backstory of like why he's a painter. What does he do? Pain, fear, anger, aggression. And then Tim asks him watercolors. But like because every time him and Marsha are in the room, and she's like, "Hello, Brian," and something happened there. So there's like 2 stories what's the whole Marsha thing, and then what's the whole vulva thing? Because that's like so weird. It's like so weird, and it's like, and then there's like, so there's that scene where like Daisy's like, "So do you rent the flat downstairs?" He's like, "Do you mean am I gay?" And then like, and then Daisy's like, "What?" He's like, "Do you mean am I gay?" She's like, "No, I mean, do you rent the flat downstairs?" He's like, "Sort of," because
he doesn't even have a flat though. He has like 1 room, right?
Yeah.
Right, but he says sort of because he's probably having sex with Marsha because he doesn't really pay rent, like he doesn't, And then Tim's like, "Well, are you?" He's like, "What? Are you gay?" He's like, "No." Like, so then there's this whole other backstory that you might get, like, I feel like he's just such a mystery that's never unfolded that I would love to find out more about. So
he's kind of a Kramer. Like Kramer's got a lot of the weird. Mm-hmm. You're like he'll throw a 1 line out that you're like, there's a fucking episode there I'd like to see. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brian, it is. Congratulations, Brian from Space. Space now won 2 awards. Look at that.
Yeah. I'm going to do Best
Acid
Adversaries
live on the show. Wait, oh. Thought you were going to drop acid live on the show. What the fuck, dude?
Best Adversaries.
Ah, yes.
Yes, and there were some really good ones throughout these shows too.
My first nominee, me versus vegetables. Fuck you, carrots, you bitch.
Damn you, leafy greens.
Fix my fucking vision, bitch.
my first nominee is Fred versus Aunt Esther from
Never
Sanford and Son. Yes, I love Sanford and Son but it gets to a whole nother level when the character of Aunt Esther is introduced.
And she wasn't even brought in until like end of season 2, I think.
Yeah. And
which is crazy because she feels like such a crazy, interesting, big part of the show.
Correct. And one of the best elements because she brings out the best of the worst in Fred.
So Fred versus Aunt Esther. My first nominee. We kind of mentioned them before. Meathead, Archie and Meathead, old Mike Stivic.
Yes.
I mean, battle of the
that
generations.
Is a great back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, is there ever an argument between Mike and Archie that's not comedy gold? I don't think so.
Yeah, that's.
I'll never forget that episode where they're locked in the basement together.
Oh, yes.
God, so fucking, you learn so much about both of them, but just watching Mike listen to Archie talk about his dad. Oh, fuck. That's one of the most brilliant, at least 10-minute scenes I've ever seen in a sitcom.
For me, for second group of adversaries, Stephen Toast and Ray Bloody Purchase.
There you go. That's good. That's a great one.
Yes, yeah, from Toast of London. Well. And there was
Purchase.
Yes, and there were many adversaries because you could also give the guys from the studio Clem Fandango. It's like there were a lot of different ones, but just those two.
Here's what we need to do for Joel. Joel, you need to go watch Toast of London. Yeah. And we'll bring you back to cover Toast of Tinseltown with us.
Yes.
Okay.
That would be
excellent. I think you're going to love that show.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Okay, my second nominee, Fred Sanford and Aunt Esther. Yeah. I thought for sure you were going to have Archie and Mike, and we were going to have a twofer again.
Yeah, and I was debating that. I was really debating that. But I had to also give it to Toast versus Ray Purchase just for the fact of, as you described before, yeah, here he is in different episodes, basically banging his wife while Ray is sleeping next to them.
Jeez, oh Pete.
I thought about Jack versus Mr. Roper too, but.
Yes, that was also a good adversarial.
Who would you have chosen for best adversaries? Joel?
I'm glad that that he picked an off one because Aunt Esther. That
you wouldn't be able to choose between Archie. It'd
have been tough. I probably would have went with Aunt Esther though.
Okay, well she won.
I don't know.
So.
See now, I don't know. Like I don't know. I'm glad you guys didn't make me go there.
Congratulations, Fred and Esther.
Woo!
Sanford and Son.
I think we're down to the last category. Are we not?
Category, I believe here. Yeah. One of mine.
Yes, it is.
The biggest breakout star, male or female. Biggest breakout star. Again, open to interpretation. For me, breakout means this kind of launched them, is the way I kind of looked at it.
Correct.
But a few of these people are huge stars and were already kind of stars before, you know.
It seems
like a lock to you, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but
all right, my first nominee, probably one of the biggest film stars in the world. Right up there in the reigns of Scientology, John Travolta from Welcome Back, Kotter. Definitely a huge breakout
as Vinny
star.
Barbarino.
As Vinny Barbarino.
Or Vinny.
Yes. I think it's hard to argue that one. What's your first nominee?
It is very hard to argue that one. My first nominee is John Ritter. Going with the Johns here.
Yes, John.
Yes, and not only was he brilliant actor, the physical comedy that he was able to produce
That one
was,
episode
like,
where he gets
unparalleled.
slipped the drugs, remember that? And he does the dance.
That was one of the
all
best
over
ones.
The party. Oh.
When he starts dancing, and the plant starts coming up from behind the
Yeah.
bar, and he's wearing it as a hat.
Exhibition of his physical comedy. So fucking good. Which is exactly why my second nominee is John Ritter of Three's Company as Jack Tripper.
Oh boy, we got one of these again, because my
Joel,
second
get
nominee
ready.
is John Travolta.
Oh, John v. John. John v. John. Oh boy, John Travolta versus John Ritter.
I think for this last category, we're gonna need Joel.
Yeah.
Joel, get your shit together, dude. Who's gonna win this? John v. John, dude. Actually, would you have chosen anybody else? First off,
Not at all.
okay.
No, it was a lock with Vinny from the
Yeah.
jump.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So Travolta, you think? Or you know?
yeah. Just because, well, what he went on to do,
It's hard to argue. He's one of the
especially
biggest movie
especially
stars in
like
history.
right, pretty close, like Grease being one of the
Saturday Night
biggest.
Fever, Grease, and what was the other big one
Don't
he had
forget
right-
Boy in the Plastic Bubble,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the ABC After School Special,
The fact that he's still around too, and still just
making content. Yep.
and I know John, that's a different story, but like, Ritter, but I don't know. I feel like, I think John just blew up, man.
Yeah.
He just blew up.
As you brought up before, Jay, like last season, well, he was a special guest every once in a while.
Exactly.
But he was on to bigger and better things at that point.
Mhm.
And it's just I think it's the work after.
Yeah.
Just the movies. If you lined them up, John Ritter's, and
Well, if you
he
just
did
look
John-
at launching pads for actors in general in sitcoms, that's got to be one of the biggest
Yeah.
leaps.
oh yeah,
Correct.
and then
from
you have
small
to
screen to
go
big screen.
like, as well as like huge stardom, right? Fall away, no one knows you exist. Pulp Fiction. Here I am,
Pulp Fiction.
like
yeah.
like that magic move he did.
So true.
You know what I mean? So you have to factor that into like comeback of a century.
Yeah.
And I will say, did you ever see that that premise of, okay, take a movie, make everybody a Muppet except one actor? But for
I
me,
don't know
it would be Pulp Fiction, and John Travolta's the only
It's the only one
human.
that's not a Muppet.
Everyone else is a Muppet because his character is so like.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going Con Air, and Nicolas Cage is the only human.
Another great choice.
I just want to see the Dave Chappelle Muppet. Ah! Oh shit!
That's funny.
But
Do you have a favorite
congratulations
Travolta
to
movie?
John Travolta.
Do I?
Congratulations, Travolta. Do you have a? Any of you guys have a favorite Travolta movie?
I do. I mean, I love Pulp Fiction, of course. I think that is
Correct,
one of his
yeah.
greatest performances. But coming in second, and it's not a favorite of anyone's, but it's Phenomenon. I actually think he.
I'm sorry.
No.
He's stuck in Muppets.
Yes, I'm stuck in Muppet mode.
Yeah. Where like I would like to.
That was a great movie. Yeah.
Well, like I'd like to see Phenomenon where everyone's a human, but only John Travolta's a Muppet. You know what I mean?
I thought you were going to say Battlefield Earth.
No. Okay.
Is that what it was
yeah,
called?
maybe-
Yeah, that was the
Let's
one.
forget that one.
You know, and
Hey, we covered
John
one.
Ritter is great, man. You know, I mean, I love Problem Child. You know, but what,
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Bride of Chucky. No.
Yeah,
When Ritter gets the nails to the face.
but that's it, man. John Travolta, dude.
Woo-hoo!
Yep. All right. Well, there it is. Our third annual. Wow, we did something 3 years in a row, dude.
That's crazy. I don't even have friends that long.
I know. Well, most of them aren't worth that long.
We've
How long
lasted
have I
longer
known
than-
you, Jay? You're
We've
talking
lasted
Uh,
longer than some of these
4
sitcoms.
years? 4 years?
Was that 4 years ago we filmed that?
2020, baby.
Really?
Wow.
Gosh, that's sad if you think about it. It just came out this year.
Tell me fucking about it, bro. What are you talking about, dude? Damn,
But,
dude.
Yeah,
Well,
but-
Jay's
That's the
gonna be in
longest
my
cock
next
in
movie.
history.
Awesome. Look forward to it.
Yeah, while you're on
if
the
you
subject.
want a movie that Joel has worked on and Jay has worked on, again, please pick up Deer Camp 86.
Deer Camp 86.
For your Halloween watching needs.
If you want to say anything about your next movie, if you want to plug anything, Joel, your socials,
your channel,
your YouTube, your OnlyFans.
So you can find me on Twitter at Joel Vallie. Also, I do YouTube Media Glitch, which is very sparingly I'm uploading there when I find a game that I like. I get games sent to me all the time, but it's like
you and me need to do some gaming soon, bro.
Yes.
Nice.
It's just been so busy because I'm literally writing 3 movies at the moment, and I'm directing
They're
a
all
video
starring
game.
Jay Bidwell.
Yeah, and I'm directing a video game, my first video game.
Yeah,
And
oh, very cool.
in case you
and
couldn't
actually
tell
the
by the
video
wall of
game-
games behind him, he's a big video game fan.
yeah, the game in itself is the biggest budgeted project thing I've ever worked on by far.
Wow.
And so it's going to be the next 5 years of my life. And so, and then the one that I'm writing a bit for Jay, it's just, cause so I can hang out with him for a day or two when he
Nice.
fly him out to,
Yay!
Hey, if you ever need any on-set stuff in New Jersey, let me know. Yeah, I'm right near New York City, and
what
Can
part
you
of
fly
Jersey
Nick out
are
to
you-
be my
Are you
fluffer?
in like Dunlin?
no. I'm in Bergen County, which is
Okay.
basically right by the George Washington Bridge.
Right. Yeah.
Not far from the Lincoln Tunnel.
Yeah. That's
And-
just
and-
like
and we have
that's a
all the
10-minute
malls.
ride. Right. That's good. Now, when I lived in Jersey, we weren't able to pump our own gas. Is that still a thing?
That's still a thing.
Are you kidding me?
It's still a thing. That's one. We're one
Imagine
of the
my confusion
only
on my
holdouts.
first road trip there.
Dude, like, is there any other state? Like, that's got to be.
A part of, I believe, Oregon. And
That is a trip, dude. I can't believe it. I was
Yeah.
telling my wife that. I was like, yeah, man, when I was younger, you couldn't pump your own gas in Jersey. And she's like, what? And I'm like,
you still
no, for
can.
real. And she's like, is that still the way? I was like, nah.
Yeah.
He's like, there's no way.
The other day,
But-
I was at Costco getting at their gas station, and a guy, like from New York, got out of his car to work the pump, and the guy working the pump, it's like, no, get back in your car.
I remember my first trip there. I pulled up to the gas station, and I think I knew that, but I wasn't. I didn't even know if I was in the Jersey state yet. I don't
Right,
think.
yeah.
Right.
So I pulled into the gas station, and I was looking in the console for like my wallet to go in and pay for the gas. And as soon as I turn around, there's a guy at my window, and I was like, "Well, hey, look, what are you doing?" He's
They
like,
probably
"Oh,
look for out-of-stater plates and just they're on it.
yeah." And he was
immediately,
like,
right?
he was like regular, and I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, I must be in Jersey already. What the fuck?"
Yep.
I was like, "Well, even in Michigan, sometimes a homeless man will just come up and want to clean your window, And you're like, I don't know who the fuck you are, sir."
And then the next that movie is a horror anthology similar to Creepshow.
Oh,
And
sweet.
so I just sent,
I'm going to be
actually,
the thing in the
sent-
box.
I sent Eric Mashila the first story script because he's one of the directors and writer of Deer Camp, so he can go over it and check it out. And the second story where Jay will come in, I can't say much, but
Gotcha.
it'll be
But there
fun.
will be full frontal
Looking
nudity.
forward to it.
But this is what I'll say about his character. I have to get Eric's permission.
Oh,
Does that
interesting? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's all I can say.
And Jay, if they want to listen to some of those older episodes, where can they find us?
You can find Sitcom My Face, a situation comedy podcast, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. We're also on YouTube. We are on Twitch at BidwellFog and at NetNick191. Those same handles, you can find us on Twitter. And you can find us on Facebook.com/SitcomMyFace or email us at sitcommyface@gmail.com.
That is correct. Yeah, and if you in the internet land out there have any suggestions that you'd like us to watch, please let us know.
You write those suggestions on a piece of paper, and you crumple them up, and you shove them straight up your ass. I mean, you send them. You send them to our email address.
I want you guys to do Only Murders in the Building and have me on.
We do have one
that's
thing,
a great
though.
Show.
We usually wait for them to end before we cover them.
Oh, is that's a thing? Oh.
That's like one of our little stipulations. So we can cover it as a whole, you know.
Okay.
We're still waiting on The Simpsons, even though they had a finale, apparently.
Yeah.
Maybe waiting a while, but yeah.
Well, that's going to be a mega episode if you're going to watch all of them.
Oh, God.
You know what I mean? Like 30, what are they at? 35?
36 times.
Join us again to Sitcom Our Wonderful Faces.